welcome to FMA Talk Live. This is Datu, Tim, and my wonderful co-host.
DG here. Welcome, everyone.
Hope everyone is doing well. How was your weekend, sir?
Relaxing. Plus, it was one of my, it was my birthday, so it was fun.
There we go. We're the same age again.
That's right, just barely. But yeah, no, went downtown, got Gettysburg, saw the historical district, had some lunch with my wife, saw some shops and stuff. So it was good. How about you?
Well, we did the Black Belt Immersion Seminar Phase 1.
Yep.
That
catch that recording.
So that we knocked out of the park to the point where, just to give you a little insight.
Bunch of people.
Well, not everyone was in person, and some people opted later. 44 people.
Nice. Okay. Yep. I'm one of the later people, but at least I have a good excuse.
But I mean, like one of the guys was in Sweden. I don't think he did it live.
Yeah.
There was not 44 people live with us at that time, but 44 people signed up for the course, for a 3-hour course. Part of it was review,
Sure.
and it was also going in new directions with the material we had, which was the whole point.
Perfect.
And during the process, I came up with mini Sagitas.
Okay.
So we have this. We have the Sagitas. We have the Carenza template. We've done that. So the Carenza, because it's back and forth versus Sagitas being, So came up with a mini version of it from a different entry, and it worked quite well. Unfortunately, when we go back and forth and counter, we get it's so easy to get confused on who's doing what, because it's based on me doing you. But I mean, it's like, all right, did this move? Did that move? Did this move? Did that move? And then started putting them all together. I use this to counter that to counter this, and I will, at the risk of sounding egotistical about this, one thing I've always felt very comfortable, and I've been given compliments on, is my ability to tie it all together. It was like, okay, here's this, and all of a sudden, hey, we've been working this whole progression the entire time. I go, yes, we have.
Nice.
How I choose to do it is fairly organic. I got to see who's there. I mean, the problem with teaching a seminar, I have a topic. I don't have, actually, a lot of times when I go to seminars, for those who teach seminars or think about teaching seminars, I don't know what I'm going to do until I show up to someplace.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the events that I do, because I'm here because I intentionally know that, hey, we're going to be covering this, that, and the other thing. So I had a topic. Okay. The next immersion is in August, and that is a it's not written out as far as when I do what, but all the topics are there. And so everyone knows what that one is. I'll pull it up right now so I can.
I agree. A lot of times seminars it's not playing it by ear. What it is, it's tailoring it to the folks that are there, the energy that's there, and inspiration that you get. I think, and people tend to like that if you don't freeze.
There should be, at a point, everyone should be feeling fairly comfortable with what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Do it enough times, you should be able to go back and forth,
Yep.
But okay, so the next one, what are we doing? A lot about what's going on. I'm going to have to redo the description. So we're doing a deep dive into disarms, counter disarms, and the Prace's family system of police.
Oh, perfect.
So we'll definitely need to do a spotty dog on that and stuff of that nature. Might be doing some. Yeah, I gotta look at. Oh yeah, there it is. It is listed in the description. You know. Yes, everyone, I do use ChatGTP to help me with my descriptions, but just so everyone's on the same page, AI doesn't work by itself. You need to give it commands. And basically what I do is I dictate to it, and then from there, what it'll start doing is rewriting what I'm saying. But they are definitely my words. It just might be a little more articulate than sometimes and others. So, all right. And then the next one is the next thing we got going on is July 17th through 19th. And we have the Balintawak Immersion Camp. So that'll be here in Buffalo. Master Rich Parsons and myself keeping that. That should be a fun event. Doing a deep dive into Balintawak. So we did the fusion seminar, which was a little of each. This is going to be a deep dive into Balintawak itself.
Yeah, that's good. I'm looking forward to that. Oh, and folks, members, glad to have you here. Definitely say where you're from. There's a few we know. I see Rev just logged in, so good to see you, Rev.
Rev, how you doing? Yeah, I've been slow at pulling the trigger on today's show because we know people log in a little, as time goes on.
Sure. But we already got international just with Rev popping in.
There
from
we
the
go.
Philippines, which has got to be pretty early there. I guess he's waking up.
Yeah, I need to share this. I'm having problems with my StreamYard. I'm trying to get it on. Oh, there we go. Oh, hold on one second there. I gotta mute this. All right, and then I'm trying to share this to full screen. It's being difficult. Go figure. Save, edit, unfollow, turn on notification. Well, let's see if this works. I am trying to share this to my page, my personal page, because we're having issues with this. Next and post. Let's see if that did it. And refresh. Yeah, okay, it's on my page. So, all right, I'll close it. I'm going to just move this to a different section. Okay, good. All right, so today's show. I don't know what today's show. No, I know what's today. Today's show is about social media. Oh, here we go. Still guapo like you guys.
Masyadong guapo lang.
So
he's a movie star, practically.
Oh, him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So let me just do this a little slower than I normally am, but Oh, actually, it went the wrong direction, of course. I need to go here, and there. In the process, I'm getting rid of a lot of stuff in my computer.
I get you. Well, plus it doesn't help that you come straight from class to here. So if you're like me, that's a pain to change gears like that.
Yeah, well, I've deleted like 500, a half terabyte of videos.
Oh, wow.
Well, I've got so much redundancy going on.
Okay.
Okay, so today, social media has become the modern battlefield for martial arts. It is where reputations are built, businesses grow, friendships are formed, and the knowledge is shared. But it's also where misinformation spreads, egos collide with popularity, is sometimes mistaken for credibility. So what happens? What's happening to the martial art world? Join us as we tackle the most controversial topics facing martial arts today. We'll dive into these following questions and then we'll hop right in. Okay. Is social media helping martial arts grow or is it watering it down? Does the follower count equal expertise? Or how can an instructor effectively use social media without losing authenticity? What's the difference between building influence and chasing attention? How does lineage, skill, and credibility fit into today's digital landscape? So we're also we talk about a deep dive on my social media journey, where I went from 7,000 followers to over 500,000 followers in just over 2 years. So probably we should start with the latter than the former. What do you think?
Could do that. And there's a couple of obvious things in there, but we can bring those up as they come on.
Okay, hey. First time watching this chat. Okay, well, Winston, I hope you like it.
Welcome. Yeah.
So this is tackling social media. So this we had a really good topic last week about being a black belt versus earning a black belt versus being one, which we're actually going to talk next week. The show is going to be about the journey beyond black. You've become a black belt. Now what?
Now what? Right. Yep. People forget that question.
The short version. Now what?
Yep.
So I'm going to pull up this information while we have it, because today the numbers were updated in my system. And so we are at the okay. So I am April 1st was the anniversary date. So 2 months after that, we are at 515,000 followers. Well, there are people like us who want to share the right stuff. And then there are those who think they know stuff, but they really don't know and just want to make money. Okay. So let's go through this real quick. This was looked at earlier today, so the numbers change as the day goes on. I'm at 290,000 plus followers on Facebook, 152,600 TikTok, 48,600, which has been going up and down in Instagram, and 23,737 TikTok. Sorry, that's YouTube. YouTube is a slow burn.
Yep, definitely.
It is definitely the hardest one because, well, I mean, if we had started earlier, it may have been, could have been.
There was a time, yeah. If you were on YouTube at all, you got a lot of stuff, but that was early.
Yeah, and there's Matt.
Hey, Matt.
So here's a fun one. So I just did a video the other day. It's been up for 48 hours. I'm quite proud of this one. And I'm going to share it right now. Now, because when people talk about what content is doing what. So let me just do this here. I'm going to share this. Sure. Oh, actually, what I should have did was I'm going to stop. I'm going to share it again because I got to double check the one setting in here.
For the sound, yeah.
With audio. Good. It's there. Oh, nope. There we go. Share. And this is the new style format we're doing. Real short, sweet, to the point. It is meant to be done slow on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
On Facebook alone, 1.3 million views in 4 days. Or no, in 2 days.
Jeez, that's crazy.
Well, actually, let me.
But yeah, short reels can do that really fast.
So all of my reels are under 2 minutes.
Okay.
Most of them are probably under a minute. A few of them go over a minute, maybe a minute and a half. All right, so let me see here. Axe handle, okay, 36,000 on YouTube, which is actually a good video.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, June 5th. So it's been up for 3 days. 1.3 million views. Instagram. $1.3 million views. Those are my powerhouses. I've got a lot of followers on TikTok. It doesn't translate to a lot of views that way. On TikTok, it is only 25,000 views. But that's still good numbers. Each platform's different. There we go, Craig.
PG Craig, welcome. Canada. So we got the US.
I just noticed a cool thing. As I click on our software, as I click a name, it's slightly you can tell if it's been read or not.
Oh, okay.
Because because I've got the command center here, it makes it slightly darker.
Okay, good.
So, yeah, because we're finding out new things from this all the time. So,
those short ones are good like that because you can get a simple idea out very visibly. It gets a lot of legs. So there you go. That's part of the answer, I think, is.
Yep. And Craig right here is the guy I've been bouncing around.
Yep. I was going to say he was in that.
Using the logo I designed for him. That really came out well. So first of all, how to get a lot of views. You got a couple options here. You can do what the girls do. You can walk around in booty shorts, thongs, and make very sexual motions. Or you can hit controversial topics. And since no one wants to see me in booty shorts, I opted to do some edgy content. Now, let's talk about it real quick. You have to be authentic, I think. You know, everything I talk about, I believe in 100%. Actually, when we talk about some of the stuff in the past, you got to really listen to what I say. A lot of people read the title and then they judge the reaction on the hook. So when you put a video up there, first thing you do, you need to get everyone's attention. So there's the hook. What you say, hey, you know, I know the second one that's coming out, I talk about the UFC not being real. I'm like, what do you mean it's not real? I'm not saying it's WWE, although it is owned by the same company now. What I'm saying is it is not real, as in it's not real world situations. There's no question that the contact is real, but it's still a martial sport. There's rules, there's safety equipment. They make sure that the fighters can fight again. Even the fighters that really want to, they say they want to hurt each other and whatever. At the end of the day, it's not a Thunderdome where two walk in and one walks out. Also, if we talk about Thunderdome, for those who know the reference, if it was a pit fight where someone fought to the death, like in a bunch of these movies, it's still not real because it is a artificially stimulated situation.
It's consensual and set up.
Yes.
In ways that, you know, if you're doing a real fight, in my mind, it should never be fair.
Yeah. No. If someone jumps you, they jump you.
Yep.
So now in the new video, I talk about that. I go, listen, you know, I talk because it's the sequel to the first video. The first video, I didn't say a lot of things like, hey, it's not that I wouldn't want these guys on my side, because I would. But I would have to be the general. And Ty and myself and Craig have traveled the world with our martial arts. And whether it be in the US or a foreign country, we've all been in places where it's time to leave. and discretion was the best part of valor there, and we've been in the Philippines when a street fight erupted around us with 20 plus people, and no one was doing any kung fu fighting, man. It was sticks, stone, and bone. It wasn't FMA sticks. It was 2x4-ish. It was stones. I didn't see any bones. That's the one thing I didn't see. But people weren't doing any Filipino martial arts. They were doing Neanderthal stuff, swinging for the fences with heavy weapons. And when I went the first time, I was warned. It was by Rick. It was, Tim, man, they are not going to do you upright. They'll wait for you coming out of a building and smash your head into the brick. And we saw that. So, all right, Mr. Tim Dobson, Erie's North Shore. He's up in Canada. And then Ty teach both FMA and Southern style praying mantis.
Northern, but yes. And Tai Chi.
But when you do a short reel, a story, a reel, or whatever you want to call it, it's got to be short to get people's attention. And we're not having it's not like this. Like last week's conversation, we had a whole bunch of conversation about becoming a black belt. It was an hour and a half of just because you become a black belt doesn't mean you stay a black belt. Some mindset was it's like a Marine. Once you're a Marine, you're always a Marine. I go, I understand where some of that comes from. But we got to go into the here we go. I do Northern Mantis as well as and in Canadian.
Nice, small world. Although then I have to you don't have to answer, but of course I'm interested in what style. I'm an offshoot of plum flower.
That's what it is. As well as Canadian. Okay. And when you read that a little quick, I also do Canadian.
That's right, Canadian martial arts. That could well be.
Okay. So, when you're doing a short, you're going to stimulate conversation. And we're going to talk about that as we go. And a lot of my topics, everyone makes these comments, my naysayers bust my chops saying all I do is bust the chops of BJJ and MMA. That's all I do. I go, well, one, it costs a lot of money to produce these. And two, go look at my channel. And one person in particular made the comment, well, that's all you do. I go, well, I just did a thing about Remy's father teaching the gorillas. I'm like, yeah, but you got the wrong footage there. I'm like, oh, so you do watch my videos, even though you said you don't. And I do make videos other than busting BJJ chops.
That's a pretty small minority, although those got really a lot of legs. So that's why people see that.
Yeah, well, what you got to do is you got to look into things and do your research. When I see something in the news, I don't go snap judgment and say, all right, I know if I'm listening to Fox, it's going to be Republican radio. If it's CNN, it's Democrat radio. I know people who have been part of these situations, so I call them up. I listen to both sides, and then I talk to people who have feet on the ground, who are more knowledgeable on the topic than I am. And I go and I do my research. Now, whether it's politics, martial arts, or whatnot, I just don't sit there and say, hey, this is wrong. I mean, how many times have we seen footage which been edited down to a physical altercation, but they leave out everything that led up to that? You got to do your research. Same thing with this. If you're going to sit there and say all my videos are this, I'm like, well, that would be incorrect and a waste of money because, do I take little subtle shots at BJJ? Well, yeah, but then again, I also do BJJ. But it is what it is. But I put out good content, I think. And you got to turn the volume up. You got to do something to get people's attention. And then the other thing is you can't be afraid of comments. Like, the person you told me not to watch the video and I did anyways. You know who I was talking about? Who I'm talking about, right? Okay.
Yeah.
That person turned off the comments on all their videos.
Oh yeah, I know. Pretty weird.
Well, no, but it explains something.
Yep.
It explains why their viewership is so small, because you need the comments. Even if people are trolling you, you get the dialogue. This is how the thing works.
Right. A little tip for tat, but also, you put yourself out there, you're going to get comments, and the more authentic you are to yourself, right? Nobody is there to please everybody all the time. So there's some people are not going to like it, and that's actually healthy.
Yeah. So now, so I'm just going to give the quick rundown. First of all, if you're going to do stuff, you got to be consistent. They just came up and filmed. My team came into town and filmed on Friday. We shot 60 videos. I didn't have the list until that day. I had 7 or 8 ideas myself.
Okay.
And the rest was like, talk about this, talk about that. Here's a reaction video, blah, 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 blah. So if you're going to do something, what I would do is 10 to 20 videos at a time. I would edit all my videos. And once they're all done and edited, I would film again. And then while you start putting up your content, start editing the next set of videos. One downside with me, I don't get to see my content because it's an out-of-town company, comes in, films, and they leave. They edit it down in Florida, and I don't get to see anything until it's posted. Some of the stuff is like, I wish I would have saw that. I would have changed this, that, and the other thing.
Right.
We changed the format now at the end of my short ones, like that axe now. I go like this, no. And at the end, I go, because sometimes I did the moves and I kind of just dropped everything. So, so do that. No. Here, do this, boom. So, I'm, it's the whole thing. And they had a couple of times they had to say, dial it down, go slow.
Sure.
So you do your content, and here's the big one. Post it from a device. Do not post it from your computer. If you can do it. It's only 1 video a day. And I would commit to like Monday through Friday. I wouldn't worry about the weekends. And I would commit to 1 platform. But if you can commit to 1 platform, you probably can do 2. Because if you do it right, if you go through Instagram and tie it to your Facebook, when you post on one, it automatically posts on the other. And then you can decide whether you want to do TikTok and TikTok and YouTube. But Instagram and Facebook are tied together, so you can do those 2 together. Keep it raw. Don't overproduce it. Keep it short, sweet. Engage. Even if they're making fun of you, hey, people taking shots at me. I'm like, listen, here's what you got to do. You got to say, it's good to have an opinion of things. I disagree with you, but then again, this dialogue helps stuff. And then if they're really idiots about it, I say, well, hey, thanks for being my biggest fan, because this dialogue helps my analytics, and I just shove it in their face, But ultimately, when people say stuff, I want to come back to this, but I'll say it now. My advice to when you're talking to people, whether it be online or in person, if they don't like it, they don't have to watch it. You can block me. You can unfollow. You can just turn the channel. It's not my fault if your analytics get fed the same video all the time. No different than when all of a sudden someone's going, why am I looking at all these ads for Viagra? Well, someone must have been looking for Viagra. Why am I getting all these adult friend finders? Well, something happened somewhere. You have a conversation with a friend, and all of a sudden you're getting these emails about the things you talked about. Go figure.
Yeah, you train your analytics all sorts of ways by what you click on, what you pause on, what you search for, like you said, what you talk about. Yeah, I was going to go back to one thing on the content that sometimes makes people, that's edgy, they're controversial. One of the things you can think about is, and these are for the audience, not you, Tim, but the idea, I think one way to look at it is those are kind of like your loss leader things. We do things all the time when we engage with things, and they're loss leaders, right? We might go there even though we're not making a lot of money, do things, get the exposure, and it gets the word out along these lines, right? Some negative content, it's not really negative, but some content that's controversial and stirs things up. I think you can look at it in terms of a loss leader, and it gets that voice and that transfer out there so that everything has legs a little better. And if it's a minority of your content, then most people will get it. Some people won't, right? Because they're going to react, but that's how people are. And again, you can't fix people, but what you can do is play the game for the content and for getting the word out and for getting the exposure.
And we will talk about the aftermath, but we're about to change topics to get into the other themes of this. But my thing here is don't ignore people. If they make comments, hit it head on. If you're thin-skinned, then this is not for you. Okay. Listen, you can do everything right and people are going to come after you. It's just the way it is.
Yep.
I turn the volume up. There's nothing I've said on my videos that I don't stand behind one level or another. And like the one video, once again, people take things out of context. I talked about how the catch line, the hook was jiu-jitsu is silly for self-defense. And then I talked about it, and the very next line was, this is to all my fans that say I can't be an authentic martial artist wearing shoes. So everyone glossed over the follow-up comment. They just focused on the jiu-jitsu is silly. And I talked about barefoot scenarios and all this other stuff. And they focused on everything, but they kept ignoring the fact that I go, this is to all my fans. And I just did another video on the big shoe debate the other day. I had Andre Lemieux over, Hanshi or Sean Andre. I'm like, hey, do you guys wear shoes? Well, in some training environments, we do. Oh, so you can do karate wearing shoes. Would you fight in the battlefield barefoot? No. Would you protect your family barefoot? No. So you keep your shoes on if you're wearing them. Yep. Okay. So, and then I talked about the culture, and at the end of the day, like the Filipino martial art culture, our culture is to train in the parks, primarily because it was too expensive for the guys in the Philippines to find a commercial spot. So we did what our teachers did. So, but that doesn't mean someone's illegitimate. And then, hey, Kung Fu wears shoes, wrestling wears shoes, all the Sambo wears shoes. We can go through a whole bunch of things that wear shoes. Mm. And there's martial art companies that make martial art athletic shoes. So
it goes back to what Rev said. A lot of times you see content where people don't know what they don't know. And that's sometimes the comments are that content.
Yeah. So, like I said, if you believe what you're saying, I don't try to be mean or hurtful. I think some people out there have been concerned because some of the stuff I said, because maybe they're concerned that I'm going to McDojo their friends. And I've called some people out. I got a person I'm calling out shortly because he's made comments that Filipino blade work sucks and is terrible and get you in trouble. So I'm addressing that straight on, but I'm standing up for the community on that one. I've had other people do hate comments towards other people, even people I don't like, and I've stood up for the fact that no one should be body shaming anybody. Mm-hmm. So all right, let's get into a couple of these comments real quick, and then we'll switch gears and talk about these topics. So, boom.
Okay.
There we go.
So we're cousins. So my branch of Maywaga went down through Korea, but it still all has the same forms. There's one extra material there. And then I've done a little bit of Six Harmonies and a little bit of Babu, a little bit of Qixing, 7-star. Yeah, I love all the Northern Mantis. Okay. Cool. And Matt, what's the difference between Northern and Southern style praying mantis? There's a long story and a short story. I'll just say the short story. It definitely looks different. Southern mantis reminds most people of Wing Chun, even though that's not really what it is. And Northern mantis looks like your classical, what you're seeing on kick flicks and things like that. So that way we don't go too off topic. Winston recently started Arnis. Awesome. Very cool. Welcome to the family. Yeah. What style? What kind of... And if you don't know the name of the style too, if you just say what kinds of things you're working on, that would help us.
And then Tim says raw. No, not that kind of raw. You
right.
knucklehead.
Nobody needs to see that. Nice. That's raw self-defense right there. No worries.
Okay.
Cool.
All right. So we're caught up with comments.
Yep.
So now, okay. So here's the next. So let's. I'm going to list these questions and let's figure out which order we want to tackle them.
Okay.
Is social media helping martial arts grow or watering it down? Do followers do follower count equate to expertise? That's an easy answer. How can instructors effectively use social media without losing authenticity? What's the difference between building influence and chasing attention? And how does lineage, skill, and credibility fit into today's digital landscape? Which one do you like? Well, I think the easy one is follower count to expertise. I think that's the easy answer.
Certainly, I think so. Yep.
Okay, so Ty, what is your thought on that?
Unrelated. So it's all about the presentation and the charisma and that kind of thing. What you set up doesn't have anything to do with how good you are personally, how good your understanding is, how good you can make students. What it does is how good can you get the engagement that you need to do to get followers. Now, it's a good skill to have, but it has nothing to do with your martial arts.
Well, let's put it this way. I have more followers out there than Bobby Tabuada. Does that make him any less of a martial artist?
Right.
Come on. I mean, he's the man.
He's the man. Yep.
He's one of the last old school guys, And and just he was from almost the same era as Remy.
Yep. Just
it's just he was a generation behind Remy, but they were obviously they're around the same time,
Yep. And they knew a lot of the same people and all that good stuff. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So follower count has nothing to do with expertise, except for expertise on how to get a follower count.
Sure. Now, if everything was all equal and you looked at the quality of the followers, you could maybe try to reconstruct, hey, who might have more legit material just by who's following them, what kind of comments the discussions are having, things like that, if you didn't know anything about the martial art. But come on, if we've trained for a long time, you can watch someone move and you can see, do they have the stuff in some way, shape, or form or not? Is it flash? Is it real? Is it Memorex? You know the drill. Just like when you pick a teacher, you got to make a judgment call, and it can't be just on smoke and mirrors.
So, and the thing here is, so Ty also does social media stuff outside of this, and the two of us, because we're the hosts of the show, we were legitimate martial artists that threw our hat into social media. Were you the one that created the .rec martial arts, or were you one of the founding members of that, right?
No, I didn't create it, but yeah, it was a small group on Usenet, and when we joined, and there's a bunch of us that are still around. But yeah, it was in its infancy when I joined, for sure.
I co-created Martial Talk, the V Bolton group out there.
I ran a worldwide Kung Fu mailing list for decades. In fact, it's still going on right now, but nobody uses mailing lists anymore. But that was one way that you got a lot of good discussions.
And then, there's all the versions of FMA Talk here. And this is the current version. It started off as a V Bolton discussion group, was split off from Martial Talk, which was the largest FMA-centric, dedicated FMA. It was actually maybe the only thing for Filipino martial arts, dedicated Filipino martial arts, as a discussion group like that. There's people who had chapters, they were on different groups and they had a FMA section, but that was dedicated to FMA. Okay, so but we were real martial artists first.
Yep.
We're not social influencers that got people following them and then tried to throw their hat into the seminar circuit or trying to teach and make something off of it. Okay, I'll ask you. I'm just going to ask you a question, Ty.
All right.
What's because we got 5 questions. I'll just ask you, and then
I've forgotten them all already.
Well, that's what I'm going to do. What's the difference between building influence and chasing attention?
So building influence, hopefully, in my mind, building influence would be two ways. Maybe you're building influence for the art or your school or those kinds of things, something that's outside of you. Ideally, if you're wanting the art to grow or your school to grow, that's all about something that still services people. So building influence would be generating that exposure to promote that, right? Whereas if you're garnering attention, it's all just about you. Hey, look at me. You might as well just, put on those, like he said, put on the short shorts and walk around and say, hey, look at me. And, people make a lot of money doing that on social media. But it's all flash and quick clicks, and nobody's learning anything. So if you're building influence, I would hope there's a other reason behind it. And if it's just chasing attention, I think it's all about me, narcissist foo.
Well, I think you could look at it. There's an easy way to look at it. If you see their content on a regular basis, is it well, like the person I'll be going toe to toe with the trash talking FMA. He says there was no in this conversation. There was no redeeming statements to the art. He's got his own opinion that this is the guard you have and your knife is up here and all this other stuff, and that there's no value to Filipino martial arts whatsoever. He talks about compliant people, like they stand there and let you do anything, but like every martial art does that.
It's a training phase.
Professor Jerry comes with us. He teaches a jiu-jitsu seminar, and the person whoever is doing the move to him lets him do the move because he's teaching the move. So this whole idea, it's just silly, that, oh, no, they're not resisting. They're not resisting. Okay. So here we go. Could you tell us a long story someday? And building influence equals trust and authenticity. Yes. That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
If that's your goal, then that would be great.
But I know a person that just chases whatever, which is more convenient for their agenda, and contradicts himself on a regular basis. And it's definitely person centric. Why do I think we're more authentic than a lot of the people out there? Because we also talk about other people in a positive way and promote other people. We've had a bunch of people on the show. We can make this all about the two of us, all about Modern East. And of course, it's about Modern East first. I mean, that's who we are. That's what we're doing. But we've had Bobby Tabuada on. We've had Tuan Jesse on. We've had Rev on. And I can't think of people's names off the top of my head, but we've had a whole bunch of people on.
I guess, yeah.
Mark Nikita, Carlos Pantalinghog, and who are nothing to do with Modern Arnis and people in Modern Arnis that are not a member of our association. So if I'm not making this show completely about the WMAA, World Modern Arnis Alliance, and the two of us, because we could do it, but we also wouldn't have the viewership.
So it wouldn't be as interesting or as authentic, I think, because it is all of, everybody. To me, it's larger, right? FMA is the big picture, and hey, my ground on it is Modern East, and I love Modern East. But you know what? All the other FMA is pretty dang interesting too. And in fact, there are roots and crossovers all across the way. So it only helps everybody when we do that.
And our journey, which is similar, we have our own personal journeys, but we both have some overlap. Once again, like all being the same. I go, Ty and myself and Craig and some others, we've gone down this path to seek all things Filipino because we want to meet all the family members of there, but really we focus on the parts that would be part of the Modern East lineage. So one part of the lineage is Balintawak because it was the last art Remy trained before forming Modern. Well, you'd also go farther back and look at Doce Pares and San Miguel. Now, we're not doing anything with Doce Pares at the moment, but we're doing stuff with San Miguel.
And we're friends with Doce Pares guys too.
Yes.
And also do some of the judging and whatnot. Yeah. So
yeah.
we're just not studying that.
And sooner or later, that's going to be, there's going to be some training in that venue, in that, because that was the art that led into Balintawak Eskrima,
Yep.
So Kuntao and Sikaran, I didn't just randomly pick that up. I mean, those are two open hand systems of Filipino martial arts that I have certification in, and it's cool to have certification in unarmed systems of Filipino martial arts because a lot of people don't have them. But it was Professor that told me that Kuntao and Sikaran are part of modern Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the kicking drill that Remy taught me was the first thing I learned, or a kicking concept. And the story to explain it was the first thing I learned in Sikaran officially when I hopped in the art.
Nice.
Almost verbatim. The story was the same,
Well, people forget, or they don't know, right, that Remy went all around the islands picking up pieces and stuff. And yes, he studied several major martial arts, but he exposed himself to everything to make him a better fighter. And yes, he fought. Some people don't even realize that. I don't understand why they don't realize that, but hey.
So actually, he would be the fighting version of Danny Inosanto.
There you go.
Guru Danny he trained with all these different people here in the States, and Remy got on the road and he did it and he fought it. All right, let me see here. I'll let you read these.
I'll read this from Matt. It was a very, very sad day this past SMAF seminar series this year because Grandmaster Tim Hartman wasn't there. You suck, Tim. Ha ha ha.
Oh, yeah, Doug Marcada. That was okay. I mean, come on. He's not me, but
I would normally have wanted to go. I didn't make it either.
Maybe next year. I am not going to. There are way too many things going on and too many weekends. And sooner or later, you got to say enough.
You can't do them all. Yeah, you can't do them all. Ted Yamada. Why do you think FMA is not well known as other arts? I know Filipinos who did not know there's FMA. This is true. I'll let Tim answer that one.
Well, why the Filipinos don't know there's FMA, one is because a lot of times it was taught as more of a club mindset, and anybody who had any money that got out of the Philippines, they would have been doing karate or judo or possibly taekwondo. And there's a cultural aspect to that. I mean, because when you did rattan, when you did arnis, you beat the crap out of each other and you couldn't work.
Right. It was very thuggish in some circles.
And people said, well, I can do karate all day long, or I can do arnis a day, and then I can't work for a couple days or a week or whatever. Mom Ted from Balintawak tells a story where he was just playing, not sparring, and he kept smacking this guy in the arm with his own stick during a maneuver. And he was a piano player and he couldn't work for 2 weeks.
Yep.
So people went into other things.
It even happens today. I had a person who was a PT guy, right? So he uses hands a lot to work with people and physical therapy and that kind of good stuff. And he was finding that he just couldn't keep up with a lot of the joint work and the disarm stuff we did. He wasn't a very strong guy, and so it was very strainful on his fingers. So he backed out of it. Unfortunately, I think he would have gotten strong enough fingers and been fine. But yeah, people, you got to work, and work and family comes first.
I think the other part is because there were no commercial schools in the Philippines.
Yeah, not hardly, especially a long time
ago. There's a whole bunch of things. We can go. The best thing that happened for Filipino martial arts was that Remy Prices proved that you could make money teaching Filipino martial arts.
Right. Well, there's the other thing too.
And the worst thing was that Remy Prices proved that you can make money teaching Filipino martial arts.
There's that loss leader thing again.
There's a whole bunch of people over there who should never be teaching people or taking advantage, playing the race card, and they're taking advantage of people who are tourists that have no clue, and we even see it today. Nice people, but there's no way in hell that they should be teaching anybody.
Well, and there's the other thing too, right? People don't do the art or they don't do the cultural things that are part of their own heritage. They go to exotic things, right? So one of the biggest martial arts in Japan is praying mantis kung fu. Go figure. They got so much rich history in karate, jiu-jitsu. all sorts of things like keto, right? Just so many things.
Oh, what was it? What's our friend from New Jersey?
Mm.
We bump into him over the Philippines once in a while. He studies with Bambit.
Rinchi K.
Yeah, Mr. K.
Yeah.
He goes to Singapore, China, or whatever to do Wing Chun. When he first went there, he'd be the only white guy there. Now when he goes to the lessons, there are no white guys there. I mean, there's no Asians there. They're all white guys in the class. They're all foreigners.
Right.
Because the people doing it. I mean, there's this global culture that people are trying to do, and I've heard to some hardcore Japanese stylists that the Japanese are saying that the Westerners are more into their culture than their own people are because they want to go global, and we're learning things like the tea ceremonies and how to do the kanji and all this fun stuff. So I mean, and I probably can talk more about Filipino martial culture to Filipinos than they can at times over here at least. I mean, well, and then we'll switch gears. The saddest thing we heard was on our last trip together as a team that we did a school for a seminar for a private school, and they told us that they're no longer teaching Tagalog in the Philippines. Everyone's learning English.
Yep. And here I am trying to get as fluent as I can in Tagalog.
You should not lose your own culture. You should not ignore that and just say, just because everyone's working overseas and stuff like that, you should still be learning your language. Yeah, and this is going to sound racist. They're all working in restaurants. Listen, all these people are leaving the country to work elsewhere, or they're working at service call centers in the Philippines. All right. Every time if you call Sirius XM, you're going to be talking to someone over there. And I hate to say it, but it's true. Hey, ¿cómo está acá? I just reviewed my Sirius the other day. Mabute, blah, 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 But I mean, sooner or later, they're like, I have no clue what you're talking about, sir. It's going to be that way. Saratoga Martial Arts Festival.
It's in Saratoga Springs, New York.
Hey, Winston, where in Canada are you?
Yeah, you might be close. Or might be close to Buffalo, where Tim is.
All right.
Or Erie, where the other Tim is.
So that finishes
the second question.
Question from Ted. All right. So Vancouver. All right, nowhere's near us. Okay.
Yeah, way across the ways. Okay. I was born in Anacortes, Washington, so I was over there, but I only lived there 6 months. So again, it's a small world, Winston. Nice to meet you.
Okay. All right, so here we go.
What's the next question?
How can instructors effectively use social media without losing authenticity?
Well, first answer is, if you're already teaching, right, your instructor, if you want to get your feet wet in, just do it, right? Teach, do some content there, just like you would run a class, and put it out there. See how it goes. See how you like it. See how hard it is. Maybe do a flare, but stay true to yourself, and it will be fine. The other thing is just start doing it.
You said it right there. That last piece. Stay true to yourself.
Yep.
I
have a bunch of stuff out there. It doesn't get as many things, but I don't use a company. But it does get some legs, and I need to get back to doing it. But I was just promoting content that I thought was useful. Right? That's it. Nothing. No flash. No hyper production. I wasn't trying to skimp or be sloppy, but the idea is plant some seeds out there that I really feel strongly about, and use, just like I teach. I teach by a lot of it's enthusiasm, right? So I put that out there, and so far a lot of people liked it.
Authenticity. Just be yourself.
Yep.
Ty, you've seen most of my content. Would you say that I'm unauthentic, or would you say I'm just turning it up to 11?
Sometimes you turn it up, but it's still you. But I mean, the other thing is you're comfortable with it, right? So when you joke and you get maybe where some people think it's controversial, you're a what I call a harsh joker, but not in a mean way, but it's it's blunt for people.
Full
So
contact
you bring it up.
sense of humor.
Yeah, there you go. But you throw that out there, and it's just a little dialed up more, right? It's a little more sometimes a little more in your face, but it's still you, and you can tell it. So if somebody knows you and they see this, they're like, oh, okay, got it. That's Tim being Tim, and I see what he's doing here. But if you look at the rest of the content, you're not dialing it up all the time. You're just doing your normal good stuff.
My when I turn up the well, first of all, you have to be energetic.
Sure.
Hey, my name's Tim Hartman, and
right.
Blah blah blah. So I mean, listen, this is performance art. It's the same thing as teaching a seminar. I mean,
you got to be captivating in some way.
We were over at the FMA Collective, and I think it was the first time that you came to it.
Okay.
Or the first time you taught it. We were in the gym down below, and I pull out my UE Boom. I start cranking the music, and you start laughing your ass off because
right.
I was Jekyll and Hyde. I'm just like, okay, boom, all of a sudden, boom, I'm like, and once the music started playing, I am a completely different person. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm waiting. All right, guys, let's do this. Just like, and you were laughing about how just turning the music on changed my personality.
Yeah.
It's time to perform. When I'm in front of the crowd, I mean, listen, there's days that I am subdued, and there's other days that I'm just like, I'm loud and proud, and it's not. It's all depending on. It's about reading the room and getting the vibe.
Yeah. Or bringing them up, right? Sometimes the room is how it is, and you want them to go somewhere, so you put that energy in, feed off of them, and it bounces back and forth, and now you can get them where you want them to be.
So,
but yes,
since I have that full context sense of humor, actually, we've even talked about this, that there's a lot of people that couldn't hang with us because, in addition to having the full context sense of humor, I also am a nice guy, and I am quiet, and I can be like, yeah, whatever, not a big deal, it's not always in your face, and there's a bunch of people that just cannot handle our humor.
No,
and like we don't play well with others when we're playing. I mean, but the thing here is we're a gamer, which means you're going to be a pitcher, you got to be a catcher. So if I bust your chops, I got to be prepared. But I'm so good at it, I use when you're self-deprecating. I take your shot for you before you have a chance. Damn you! Oh, that was a great line, Tim. I was going to say that, but you beat me to it.
That's a good tactic.
So
but believe it or not, sometimes we'll be joking around Tim, and he'll be the quiet one while we just scale it up in notches where he's shaking his head.
So, oh my God! Let's not even talk about.
We won't mention those jokes.
Yeah. Okay. Because they have a humor that you might need therapy afterwards. Okay. Oh, I mean, I'm going to do something.
One of the guys is ex-cop, so anybody knows how cops are, their humor can be.
I don't have the right microphone on. Let me tell me if this is better. Does that sound better?
Oh, that sounds a lot better.
Okay.
Yeah,
you gotta be my ears. If it's something doesn't sound right,
it was only a little bit off. This is the before by comparison. The before was muted, but this is a lot better. But yeah, I wouldn't have noticed it.
Yeah, I was on the Logitech, not the Rode.
Okay.
Every time I get an update, it resets everything.
Sure.
So, okay, so as an example, so my team goes, Tim, you got to respond to this. Like, okay, whatever, Now I don't get this stuff. They just sent it to me. So, okay, so self-defense against gay men. Okay.
Okay.
You protect yourself.
Oh, geez, I've seen this one. So
run this in real time. Here you go.
You gonna attack? Oh, I did see that one.
Oh man, they're gonna attack me,
bro. I'm not gay,
bro. You're clearly the handsome one, man.
I haven't fully mastered this. Okay, here's how.
Obviously not. And that's all I got to say. Except follow the Datu.
Okay, here's how you protect yourself.
Now, there was a gay pride Well, actually, there was a couple of videos back to back that they had me do, and one of which was the girl's wearing a shirt and she goes, "Hey, it's Gay Pride Month. I thought you were dressed up." She goes, "I am." She's wearing a jiu-jitsu shirt. I'm like, really? You gave me like 2 videos in a row? Come on, stop it. Like, and I take a little shots here and there and stuff like that, but it's just not like I said, we got a full context sense of humor, just
I might have seen that a long time ago. It's an old skit, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But yeah, a lot of times too, if we're thinking stuff's funny, we're just as busy laughing at ourselves too, which is what you got to do, right? It keeps you honest.
Well, I mean, as I tell as Gen Xers, dude, it's a coping mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
I try to tell people that all the time. We are damaged people. But I also think that we've probably got our head on straight more though than most of the people out there. But that's just my opinion on things. So, all right. So, let me see.
What question are we on now?
Oh, I got. This is 4 or 5. Let's
Okay.
do this one. How does lineage, skill, and credibility fit into today's digital landscape?
Mm-hmm. Lineage, credibility, and skill. Well, we already talked about the 2 types of skill, right? So hopefully if your goal is to be engaging, right, and promote your martial art or promote your system, your school larger than you, then you got to have some skill with that, right? You got to have some skill, something you can share, even if it's an insight that's new or maybe a different way of doing a thing. So that, I think you need to have some skill, right? Do you have to be a grandmaster? Not necessarily, but you should have some skill that you bring into the table that you're exposing to your thing. So that's a simple one. The first 2, though, that's lineage and credibility. I think all throughout martial art, lineage is both over and underplayed. I think it's underplayed because people forget the respect for the people who've gone before. And I think it's overplayed because people say, hey, this was my teacher, so I must be good. That's a bunch of BS, to be honest, right? It's not necessarily always true. You had a great teacher, doesn't say anything about you. It just means you had an opportunity. It doesn't mean that you took advantage of it and actually made something out of it and did the work. So lineage, I would like to see more on the respect side and less on the blustering, hey, this is my teacher, so I'm going to be really, really good. I've met people that have, some bubba in the middle of Texas, that have created their own style, and you would think that, okay, yeah, sure, that's going to be great. And guess what? They were highly skilled, and yet guess what? They could produce students that could do the same things. So in the big scheme of things, the lineage didn't matter because the lineage was the person who created that style from whatever experiences they had turned out to rock it, and were able to pass it along. So that's just my thought. And then what was the other thing? Legitimacy or no?
How do lineage, skill, and credibility fit in today's digital landscape?
Credibility. Well, you don't. So credibility, I was going to say a couple things and then I'll turn it over to you. Credibility, you don't, nobody starts out with a lot of credibility. So if you're going to be sharing some skill with a good format that engages people and that gets your message across, then you'll start developing credibility, right? But you have to give yourself time to develop that credibility. You're not going to just say, hey, I come on the scene, you guys should just respect everything I have to say because of my lineage or because of my trophies or whatever. You don't get that. It's kind of like when you meet a person in first time in real life, you should respect them a certain amount, but it doesn't mean you're going to worship the ground they walk on because maybe they have some sort of background. You're going to play it by ear and see how they are and see how they treat you and see how they share and see how they communicate. So I think you need to take the time to develop some credibility. And again, if you're honest and true to yourself and your style and the material that you're trying to promote, I think that will come. But realize that is part of your journey, and part of the focus you have to have is to take time to make sure that works, because you can't assume that you're going to get it from the outset. There, that's my 3 cents on those 3 pieces. I'm sure Tim's got a lot more.
Well, I don't think any of that chimes in on the credibility. Listen, none of that fits into. None of that's important, unfortunately, today's digital landscape. Just because we're online doesn't mean that we have lineage, skill, or credibility.
True.
So there's the other aspect of it. Wait, did Tim just say that is please ask? Okay.
I don't think so.
So the thing here is just because, okay, so I'm going to take it from a different angle. Being on the video or on this means nothing.
Mhm.
You know,
Anybody can get on and promote anything.
So I have had, if you search me, you will find decades of digital footprints going all the way back to the late 90s when the internet first opened up. Obviously, the closer to today, the wider and the deeper steps you'll see. But everything about me was around there back before Remy passed away, before Remy was sick, before he passed, and I was doing seminars while Remy was alive. Like a good chunk and a fair amount of international seminars, which teaching Remy's art, really his students weren't doing that. They were teaching, well, let me rephrase that. You have people like Kelly Warden. Modernist is part of the synthesis, but he wasn't just doing Modernist seminars. He was doing his Renegade Jeet Kune Do and stuff like that. So, but I have this whole history of doing things. And a lot of his students didn't do anything until after Remy died.
Yep.
Okay. What?
I was going to say I had there was at one time there was only 2 websites on the whole internet that people could find that were for Modernists, and I was one of them. And I would actually, again, while Remy was alive, I had that thing, and I was
the other.
And then shortly they grew up some more, but I also did some seminars with Modernists while Remy's alive, but it wasn't all around like Tim. It was at my Kung Fu school for my Kung Fu teachers' classes. I would come back and share what I learned elsewhere, because that was one of the few people that was encouraging people to cross train and bring it back to the school and share. That was really great. One, he supported my learning elsewhere, and 2, I got to support the school by giving stuff back to my fellow students, which was nice.
Yeah. So I mean, and so
we were around.
this having that helps my legitimacy online, but being online doesn't make me legitimate.
True.
So buyer beware.
Hey, there's a lot of people with 57 10th degrees. It's online. They must be legitimate, right?
I would look at all this stuff from there. Like I said, you have to do your research. If someone, and the other thing too is, here's the other thing I like doing. If I like watching I've watched videos that I was completely amazed by. I'm like, oh my God. It's to the point where I was reconsidering where I was in the big scheme of things. And then I watched the video again. So this works for everything. So you should watch yourself on video as often as you can. When you first start watching, you might have the effect that I had. I was very impressed because my performance was better than the people around me. I remember my 3rd degree test where I knocked that thing out of the park. I watched it. I probably watched that 20 times, maybe 30. And each time I looked at it, I found more and more things I did wrong. And I got to the point where I'm like, okay, it was still a solid test, but it wasn't the test I thought it was. But I knew how I felt when I grabbed people. I knew how they hit the ground. I knew how I took their sticks away and all that other stuff. And the more I watched it, the less pleased I was at it. Which gave me inspiration to work on more of my material. I watched this video by somebody who is doing stick, punch, kick, lock, and throw. First time I saw it, amazing. I got to say, they have a professional or professional-like filming capability because it was amazing. Spot on. The more I watched what was going on, the less and less I was impressed with their stick. To the point where I'm like, okay, they don't have good stick. They have passable stick. It's not in the same league as me. I'm like, okay. But when you add punching and kicking and locks and throws and stuff of that nature, what a package. But I was so overwhelmed by that initial video presentation. I was overstimulated. And the more I watched it, the more things I saw. Like I said, when you go into a room, you see everything in the room, but you may not be able to process that. And I remember anytime you go shopping, you look at the whole thing. You're looking for one thing in there, and like you see everything. Like, and then someone brings over here's what you're looking for. Oh, damn it. How did I miss that? Because I'm being overstimulated. So my thing is always going, hey, look back at the basics. Don't do your research. Check it out a bunch of times and see what you think. If you've watched the video 10, 15 times, I mean, okay, if all you're doing is is bored by it, then don't worry about it. But like, there was a couple of videos that when I wanted to motivate myself, I'd watch it. And Karate Rocks was a video I used to watch. And had a bunch of videos, and they used to have a whole bunch of things in there, including people beating, old school traditional martial arts, working on a steel locomotive and doing things. And then it was Jackie Chan's Big Brawl. Those are the two movies that would motivate me on training, and I could, if I knew if I had access to both of them, I'd still watch it just to get myself excited about things. If you feel that, like every time I watch Enter the Dragon, I still say, man, Bruce was awesome. When I see every time I've watched Karate Kid, I'm never bored with the story or the fight scenes. It was still the things still stand the test of time. But if you're watching it like, that should tell you something. All right. So hopefully I didn't go too down far that rabbit hole. So let me give you the last one here on our list. Oh, Eric, just in time for us to sign off. No.
All right. That's a good show. All right. Say no,
Yeah.
teasing.
Hey, no class Wednesday. We have a jiu-jitsu seminar, just FYI.
Juju.
Yeah. Coach Jerry's coming down to Buffalo to teach, and Eric is one of our long distance students. Okay, so here we go. The last question. Is social media helping martial arts growth or watering it down? I know what I feel, but and it could be case by case when we talk about this.
Sure.
Okay, so I will give this to you, my friend.
Okay, I just got two thoughts. One is, I think perspective is helpful here, right? So back in the day when martial arts were big with in movies, right? You had Bruce Lee, he's just an actor, he's just a whatever, and Bob Wall and Chuck Norris and all those people on the screens doing martial arts, and Richard Norton and right, all of those people. There was a lot of people, naysayers, a lot of people saying, hey, just show whatever. But you know what it did? It got interest out there. So mere exposure, what do they say? All press is good press, right? Eventually. The idea of just having it in the conversation, whether it was good or bad or indifferent, that exposure was valuable. So martial arts became really, really big. A lot of it was because of the good and the bad from the movies. We probably all watched some Saturday night kick flicks and from imported movies. I think that's one thought there. So I think in some sense, some exposure in the news is good, and particularly if there's enough good out there that can carry the momentum forward, right? So maybe you didn't like Bruce Lee, but maybe you liked some of the other stuff you saw, and that made you do it. But the reason you could do that is because of the interplay between those two, and you could choose. So I think that's good. The other thing is, there's a lot more onus on the viewer, right? Because there are a lot of people out there sharing things that are questionable. You have to decide for yourself what that is. And that's, a lot of viewers aren't doing that. They're just might be sucked up by the flash. They might be sucked up by the maybe the method that the person engages. They might be sucked up by the sheer presence of the people. So are they doing the work or not to figure out what's right for them? I think that puts an onus, like I said, on the viewer, right? You gotta make sure, if you want to stick with it long term, that it is really what you want to do. And don't get me wrong, right? So somebody might want to do martial arts because I want to do flash. Somebody might want to do martial arts. I just want to go to tournaments. I might want to just do point sparring, right? I might want to just go through these motions and learn all these dance moves because I think it looks cool. However you want to do it, right? Hopefully you're wading through the material and picking and choosing what you want to do and why you want to do it, and that's all good. And the reason we can do that is because of the social exposure, the social media exposure to a large extent these days, since everybody lives online. But again, you got to be a little careful. There are people out there that don't know what they don't know, and they've been doing that for a really long time. So you got to read between the lines. But that's the same with everything in life. So it's no new lessons there. That's all I'll say about that.
Well, here we go. Let's do these two, and then I'll
Sure.
chime in.
Wendy's back. Great. Black Belt Theater every Saturday. That's right. Kick flicks, chop sake, all that good stuff. Tim Dobson. I think it certainly opens it up to more people, and it also opens it up for more Nimrods and McDojos. Yes. Eric, I would never have had a chance to meet either of you without the social exposure. See, there you go. That's another good example. Or vice versa too, Eric. I think you're good folks.
If you like this show, there's the benefit of doing what we're doing.
Or I was going to say, there's your problem.
If you don't like the show, there's.
It depends.
Listen, so I've even had one of our members, and one of our inner circle guys talks to a whole bunch of other people. And we have to talk about the fallout. There's the fallout. Got to talk about the fallout. One of our inner circle guys had a conversation with me. I hadn't talked to him for a while. And that person's been dealing with stuff in their life, and not going to get into it. Because I don't want to say anything that's going to give away whom I'm talking about. Good. Thank you. Talk to some of these naysayers of mine. And goes, well, I don't know why you do this. I don't know why you don't put out good content. You wrote something recently that was amazing. I go, well, you did this one article and you got, there's really good. Yeah, that art. Okay. So I go, like, first of all, that article got like 12,000 views. But prior to all this, it may have gotten 1,200 views or maybe 120 views.
Right.
So, last week's show, I don't know about last week's show, but I had David Scrogg on. I can't tell you what it was like for the I don't know what Facebook numbers were doing before, but I do know that
he's a Dos Paris guy, right? Or did I misremember?
Whom?
David Scrogg.
He's Dos Paris.
Yeah, Dos Paris. So there you go. See.
So last week's show, being a black belt versus earning a black belt versus being one. 2,100 views
in a week for a long format show.
Yeah. Then I did a 24-minute video coming back from a tournament, just on the road talking about things. 3,500 views.
Right.
Never had that in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Never had that in the past.
Yep.
So we talked about, so me and this person talked about a whole bunch of things, and they talked about, well, I see the same naysayer stuff I hear, because he was also probably parroting a little of what others were saying to him. Mm-hmm. And like, all you do is bust BJJ chops. Now, I love Ty because Ty trusts me, but he does what I tell people to do. And he doesn't do it because I told him. He does the same thing. we
checks.
both trust and verify.
Yep.
Because if I'm going to speak on someone's behalf, if I know better, if someone says something about Ty and I know that's not the case, I verify the information, so I am contributing to the truth and not making something worse. So there was people were making a comment about something about double booking events, and I told Ty that no, man, they've always done this events here, and he did the research 7 years back, and my information was 100% correct. And that 1 year that I put a date up at an event, they happen to change it to, after I posted my stuff, they just coincidentally posted me the same weekend in the same town, a couple minutes down the road from each other. Didn't matter that I was teaching different topics, but the fact of the matter here is, and then they cried, woe is me, when they're the ones that made the mistake. And we were willing to change the dates if someone would have talked to me about it, because I chose a date that it wouldn't conflict with somebody else's. I did it at the beginning of the month because they normally do their event at the end of the month. And the school that wanted us there is the one that gave us the dates of availability. It's really what it boiled down to.
Yep.
So, that's part of this here. But as I talked to this person, he would start making comments about stuff, and I'm like, well, look, and actually, I want to talk about, so Ty, talking about verification and stuff like this. You've looked at my videos. You've looked at my channel. How many videos do you think in a 30-day period that I push out is bashing BJJ? Okay, or would that be 0? And some are just sarcastic comments here and there and witty satire. But even then, how many of those?
Well, I think if people aren't paying attention, right, you're going to see the jibes as being negative. But I know that you play with a lot of BJJ guys and you do dueling videos, right? So that's fine. So people don't see that. But let's say they just take it at face value. It's going to be 1 or 2 in a 30-day period at the most. There was a time that it might be in 3, but sometimes it's 0. It's somewhere in there. 0 to 2 per month is what I see.
If I so like that defense against gay, a gay offender, that was, and even that, was it jiu-jitsu? What I don't remember what was that the jiu-jitsu defense against gay people? Was that what it was?
I don't know. I don't think they said.
Oh yeah. No. It just
they were squared off, and then of course they ended up horizontal. So.
Oh no, it's just self-defense against gay men.
Right. Okay. All right.
So it wasn't even a jiu-jitsu thing, So I remember someone making a comment, and I looked. It was 35 days, and and that's not me and Jerry being on the show together and busting each other's chops. We have a couple really funny ones coming up.
Good.
But I mean, Andre and I were talking about karate versus FMA, which is better. Mine's better. I go, but it could be worse. It could be BJJ. And Andre goes, yeah, 1,000% better. I'm like, but usually Coach Jerry's in the room with us when we're saying this stuff too.
No doubt.
He's sometimes feeding us the information. But but I'm not doing bashing videos, but I did 35 videos, and one was a satire and another was a response to a BJJ guy, MMA guy, who just came after me, saying, I know nothing about self-defense, never been to my school, never done anything. It's like, there are no such thing as true self-defense schools. He always goes, if someone does this is gay, and this is gay, and this is gay. I'm like, is there a closet you're trying to stay in or something or whatever? But, but, so I went through this whole thing, and I gave, this inner circle person, and I had a conversation, and I hit him like, this is how much video sales I've been doing. This is how much word I've been spreading. And here's the big one. The big one. I've helped people around the world fight in Filipino martial arts schools, including in the Philippines. I've sent a whole bunch of people to Rodel de Guk, Rene Tongson. Now, if they didn't go, it's not my fault. But, they go like, hey, where? I go, oh, do you know someone in the Philippines? I go, you Metro Manila? Yeah. Do you know Lanetta Park? Yeah. Well, if you're in Lanetta Park, you should go look at Rodel de Guk or Arnold Narzo.
Yes.
I want to do what you do. Then go to Riddell de Guck. But I had a guy. Long story short, his cousin attended a seminar that I taught at I taught in the Philippines a seminar. His cousin attended it, and then years later, I was there by myself. Him and his cousin took a private lesson with me in the Philippines. And then I go, hey, what do you do on Sunday? Not much. Why? I go, let's go to Lynetta Park. He signed up with Riddell on the spot. And here we go. I sent him students. I've sent a bunch of people students. Send them to me. You got it, Rev. You got it, Rev.
Go. Yep.
I go. Oh, because here he goes. Still the weapon. Yeah, that's Jerry. There we go.
Video. Yep. Met a lot of people in the martial arts community through social media, so I'm thankful for that because I've learned a lot. So
listen, we will meet through social media. We'll meet new friends. The influencers can do a bunch of good things. I mean, listen, I get my seminar. So I was in Germany, and you got it. I was in Germany and at Mike's place, and Mike asked me to ask. I go, hey, how many people the deciding factor were my social media videos? A third of the people raised their hands.
Okay, to meet this guy.
To meet me. And they came back.
And they came back.
I'm doing seminars bigger than some of the guys over there.
Well, it's funny. I notice a lot of times that the detractors that they have, some of the detractors, they don't say anything about, hey, they always say that you do a good seminar, you always get value for what you're teaching and stuff. And then they don't like some of this content and stuff. It's like, what are we here for? We're here for the first thing. The second thing is just one of the tools to make things work.
You know what you can do about my content?
Not watch it.
Turn it off.
That's right.
Hey, this isn't like back in when we came up and you actually had to turn the knob on the television.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm too goddamn lazy. I mean, right now I got a remote, man. I can stop it. I can turn the channel. I can go to a streaming service. I can pause it. I can do whatever I got to do. I mean, if you don't like what I'm watching, well, that's a you problem, not a me problem. Watch something else.
Right.
Well, it comes up in my feeds. Well, then what does that tell you about your feeds? All I see is you busting people's chops. I go like, I can't believe. And of course, then people are just not being honest with themselves.
Right.
All your videos are this. Well, what about this video? Well, you did it wrong because you used the wrong footage. It's a short. It's not a documentary. And where are you going to find this footage, by the way? So let's hit up the last one here. It's not a question. It's a topic I left off.
Yeah.
The repercussions of doing social media. Okay. So I've had people distance themselves from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I was concerned about that when I first started this. I'm like, all right, guys, I don't know what I should, are you sure? We're going to talk about some of these controversial things and people are going to be, people aren't going to like it. I don't want it to ruin my seminars. No, Tim, don't worry. And don't worry about this. Just, and we can always do a pivot, which recently I've done a huge pivot. So the video I'm going to talk about the UFC not being real, the first video was not bad. People just took it wrongly. But now I've gone back and expanded on what I initially talked about it. And I sat there like, listen, not saying I wouldn't want these guys backing me up, but they're professional duelers. They're not professional urban combatants. And there's a difference. And we've seen MMA and BJJ guys get injured severely, if not killed, in real world scenarios. And then people say, well, stop making fun of these warriors. And I'm sorry, they're not a warrior. They're a cage fighter. Warriors are the serve in the military like my father did, who was a vet during Vietnam. Do not confuse the two. And this is not has to do anything about my father. This has everything to do with when people say, the warrior mindset. I'm like, I get that. I'll let that one slide a little. But I've had people, I got to bring my warriors to your tournament. Like, oh, they've served? No. I'm like,
Right.
and I'm just like, all right, you know what? We're going to have a difference opinion on thing. I'm going to let that one slide.
To be fair, I will say that we have seen, UFC guys and things like that do really well in real world things, but it's not a guarantee because of that difference.
Not at all. So there's been, we know of some famous people who've had their butt handed to them in real world scenarios, No, I was not. My father was. I wasn't. But Ty and myself have worked with sheepdog combatives, and we've taught at the Virginia Police. I've been doing it since 2007, off and on the Virginia Police Academy, doing enrichment programs there as an adjunct instructor, a civilian adjunct instructor to this group. So I went to take the test, and I realized halfway through I was trying to be like my father, not being like me. And I think it was a very good time to have found that out versus being on the job. I don't have the temperament. I would have hurt somebody. I would have seen someone pick on someone that can't defend themselves or hurt an animal or hurt a child and, or a woman, I've got a little less about I've seen women in abusive scenarios. If they're not with the male 24/7, there's an opportunity for them to leave. Children, and I was in an abusive environment as a child. When I got old enough, I left, because I had a bipolar stepfather, or I'm assuming he's bipolar. And I felt trapped. I felt that I was in jail, and I lost my real father when I was 15. And if my father was alive at that time, I don't know what I would have done because it was 2.5, 3 hours away from us. And I just don't know if I would have. I love my dad, but I didn't want to change my life. I didn't want to move from the area. I was very comfortable in Buffalo. I've lived here all my life. I really have no intention on moving away. Could I see myself snowbirding somewhere sometime? Sure, I could see that. But I don't see myself ever leaving Buffalo because I just love it here. It works for me, Doing well. How about you? Which is that our Daryl? Oh no, ours is Darren.
Right. Yeah. I don't know who that is, but it doesn't mean that he's not someone we know.
So yeah, but I go down the rabbit hole. But so getting back to the repercussions. So this person was, we were talking about some people who made some comments about me and all this other stuff. There are people who have distanced themselves from me, and they've made comments. They've taken things out of context, which happens a lot with me. And I tell anybody, when you hear something you don't like or don't understand, maybe you should ask for verification before judging anyone, because it may have come out. It may not have come out the way they intended. You might not be thinking about the same play. No one knows how you think or feel. And Ty and I will talk about the same topic, but we'll look at that topic from two different viewpoints.
Like some of our answers today, as I was taking the question totally different way he took it, which was cool. Yeah, because we can cover more ground.
Yeah,
even this one. What are the implications? I was going to say something different, which was, you get burned out. You got
So we're talking two different things right now. So what I say may make perfect sense for where I'm coming from, but no sense for where you're coming from.
Right.
And I'm like, well, how does that relate to this? Or is this what you're trying to say? No, I'm not trying to say that. I'm just, what I'm saying is X, Y, and Z. So because of X, Y, and Z, or 1, 2, and 3, so I've had people, but I've had people distance themselves without talking to me. So these people were supposed to be my friends. Some of these people I've done a lot for them, and they've given me credit for that publicly. And they've distanced themselves without a phone call, without an email, with absolutely nothing. Same people that have said shitty things about people I know. And on the verge of me saying something, they got quiet and I let it go. But now, because I'm successful with social media and some things may have been taken out of context here and there, or not verify or whatever, they forget all the stuff I've done to help them. And that doesn't give you a pass, by the way.
Mhm.
I do something nice for you. It doesn't make you, doesn't, if I've been really good to you all my life and given you opportunities and put money in your pocket, all this other stuff, that doesn't mean I can be whomever I want, whether it offends people or not. What it means, what to me, what it should mean is, with all of those things that I've done that have deserved at least a conversation, a dialogue. Tim, you did this, you said this, and you know, I would want an opportunity to try to apologize if I did something wrong, or if I did something so bad that there's no coming back. At least bring it to my attention so I can try to make sure it doesn't happen again. I mean, contrary to popular belief, I do not go out there saying stuff to cause trouble. Well, you said all this stuff about modern Ernest. I go, if you look at my comments about modern Ernest, a lot of my stuff that I say out there is responding to something that's been put out there.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know why it's so controversial with Tim and modern Ernest? Because I give a damn. I put time and effort into this art, and I'd hate to see it die with us. I said us. Ty, me, Chad, Craig, Jeff Delaney, Chuck Goss, Kenny Smith, Brian Zawolinsky, and the list goes on from there.
Yep.
I would hate to see the art die with us. That's why I have some. I get emotional with things. I talk about stuff, but when people talk untruths about modern Ernest and they put it out there, I feel the need to clear up the misinformation. And it's not saying that the person is lying. How about they got it wrong? You know, there's somebody out there that we both know that tried to say that you only tested for your black belt, and after that, the rest was given to you. I'm like, really? I'm the highest tested black belt in the system, and it wasn't first degree. I've tested time and time again. My people have tested multiple times. Ty has tested multiple times. Don't make comments like that and dilute the water for all of us. So what you're saying is, if you're a master level person, you're an untested master or grandmaster or whatever title you want to throw around there. I go, these are the things that annoy the hell out of me. People make comments that tests weren't done outside of camp. I go, really? Really? You say this video right here, you're saying that that's not me testing? That's not me getting a higher degree black belt? Really? Maybe you've never tested at camp. And then people put out that misinformation.
Well, I think people sometimes get lazy, right? That just because they didn't ever see something, they don't say it that way. They didn't say, I've never seen that. They say, he never did that. Those are two totally different things. And actually getting the right framing actually matters.
Words are important.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right. That nailed it right there. You know, like what I wish I would have done if I could go back in time for the amount of times I heard that statement.
Right.
I wish I could have gone back and said, when people said, well, I've never seen Remy do that. Okay, so let me ask you the question. Are you saying you never saw Remy do that and you're excited because you want to see what we're sharing? Mm-hmm. Or are you trying to say that he's never done that and you're suggesting that we might be lying about it?
Right.
Completely two different things. You know, I remember, I remember the one, and this will be my last one. I remember having a conversation with Randy Shea, and I had a conversation with Remy. I go, Remy, I want to start doing tournaments again, hosting them. Oh, that is great. And maybe we will. And I go, so there's stick fighting tournaments. I go, and maybe I will try to get the airlines to sponsor and give us a free ticket for the winner to go to the Philippines. This is when Remy was getting ready to do camps in the Philippines. He was going to buy property over there. That last trip to the Philippines was not a secret trip. It was a trip to go over to buy land and get things done. And how do I know this? Because I was supposed to go on that trip with Remy. And he had a dialogue with his brother sooner around their time, because Ernesto had offered him to use his camp, but Remy wanted his own thing. And you know what? That makes 100% sense. But I was talking to Randy at a camp afterwards. He goes, well, Remy didn't like tournaments. All right. And what I should have, Remy told me this. I'm like, oh, no, Remy didn't do tournaments. What I should have sat there and said a couple things. The first thing I would have sat there and go, are you calling me a liar? I mean, I want to make sure that we're on the same page. I mean, what I'm hearing is that I'm lying about this conversation. And and then what I could have sat there and go, do you have the pink book? Yeah. And what's in the back of the pink book? Well, I don't know. The rules to the tournament, you idiot. Right. And then I should have grabbed him and said, Randy, stay right here. Actually, there's Remy. Let's go talk to Remy now. Come here. Come on. We're going. No, Randy, I'm having this conversation. So I'm going to go over and talk to him right now, so you can be part of the conversation. And I would have asked Professor, did we not have this conversation? Yes. Okay. That's all I need to know. Randy, there you go.
I mean, a lot of times he didn't emphasize it, but you're right. It was in the pink book. And if you asked about it and he knew that you were interested, he would talk to you about it. But I think that other set of information that people, where those of the people that think he didn't like tournaments or anything like that, I think that unfortunately has a side effect of people forgetting that Remy fought. He fought a lot. He just didn't want other people to have to do that. If you wanted to do that, it's a whole other story, but he didn't want people to have to do that and go through the pain and damage and all that good stuff.
Let me throw this out there.
A different thing.
As far as this goes, okay. He had the rules in the book because his people were doing tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
The problem in the States is it was the art within your art. Okay. I remember showing up stick sparring at a camp and people thought I was crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because most people did modern Arnis, Remy's art, as a secondary or tertiary art. They did it as an upgrade program or a supplemental filler. You know what? I need to learn how to disarm a stick. And then they had opportunities to test while they were that, because part of their martial art, their previous martial art, was applied toward their whatever their primary art black belt was in, that was able to apply some of the credit there. I mean, think about going to college. You go for a second degree or switch degrees. A lot of those martial courses could be applied to a different degree.
The core curriculum, yep.
Punching and kicking is universal. I mean, you're a black belt in a striking art. Maybe it's a little different, but the fact of the matter here is you've got that black belt level already, and then you're adding stuff to it already. You probably could perform katas better than what I would perform katas. I was just more accurate because I did the art as the art. I didn't do it as blended with something else. Remy allowed in the katas for artistic interpretation, stylistic interpretation, meaning that if you did it, like if you're a karate guy and you did it like a karate guy, if you did it Japanese style, he was happy with it. If he could whether he did it Japanese, Okinawan, Korean, Chinese, Indonesian, Malaysian, whatever, if he could identify the moves, that's a down block, then he was happy with it. He wanted to change that, and we talked about that at the end, but that's another topic. But I think, but as we go through things, and I'll get back to the thing is, if you're doing this, you have to be prepared for some people to distance themselves from you. You're not going to lose friends over this, because if they're friends, they'll have a dialogue with you. I've lost associates, and the people that are no longer talking to me about this stuff, that haven't had a dialogue, but I've heard secondhand that there's an issue, obviously they weren't my friends to begin with. And they're people I probably should have never helped. Because if they really felt that way, they should have had a conversation with me.
Yeah, there's the thing about, the benefit of the doubt, right? So you see something you don't quite like, you can always just say, hey, wait a second. You did a thing there. Did I read that wrong, or what was going on? You can have that conversation. Super easy.
Where do we live?
Where do we live? America.
And what are we in America?
Free.
And innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
So
unless you're doing civil law. Civil law is different. It's got a different burden.
But actually, that's going to be the new thing I talk to people when they sit there. Well, you're saying all this stuff. I'm like, I'm still innocent until proven guilty. Maybe the person who's guilty is the person who's doing the complaining. Maybe you should be talking to the other side. All right, let me get called up there. Here you go.
Yep, absolutely. Mr. Know-it-alls. Yes, indeed. I know you're fighting some of that too, Rev. Some sort of ceremony or test to become a Datu when Remy was still alive. I think there's only one person who tested with Datu, and that was you. But remember, it's a chief of the tribal chieftain. So you already had to have a tribe before he'd even consider. But you couldn't ask to do it. You couldn't say, "Hey, I want to test for Datu." No such thing. It was all Remy's choice. In fact, actually, Tim's left, so I'll tell you. I think he got offered Datu earlier, but Tim wanted to do the work and show that he wasn't just a celebrity Datu or a celebrity rank person, but he wanted to do the work in front of people because, when you test for anything and you do a good job of it and you made yourself do that, that's a great sense of accomplishment. And also there's no doubting it because everybody saw it. So you kind of set the baseline for what you bring to the table for that rank. I remember testing for second, which is the third black, Lacan Delawa. So we had Lacan, Lacanis, Lacan Delawa, and we were scaring people during the test. They said, "Hey, slow it down because you're scaring people during the test." We were having a blast. We were rocking it, and that's the kind of test I wanted to have. And I think Tim always wants to do that, but he's here, so I'll let him speak for himself.
Actually, I didn't test for Datu.
Okay, but you did for sixth. Right?
Well, okay. So in '99, at the Michigan summer camp, he said he was going to make me Datu. But I told him I didn't want it if I didn't test for it, right? Especially because I'm testing. I knew I was testing in 2000. So to me, I wanted it. I wanted it all together. But he was telling people, including Kelly Warden, who called up and congratulated me because he bumped into a seminar. He bumped into Remy at a seminar and did an interview while I was there. So he called up and I tried to tell him that, so I talked to Kelly or Remy after and like, hey, I talked to Kelly. Oh, great. He goes, yeah, congratulating me on being a Datu. Oh, yes. I told him that. Remy, I didn't accept it. Well, I didn't tell him that. And then at the end of the test.
That's so Remy.
After the test was over, Janice and I walked up to him and we were saying goodbye. And I was giving him an exer bar exercise thing that could break down and go, put this in your bag so you can work out. And, blah, blah, blah. I gave him some padded sticks and yada, yada, yada. And he goes, now you're a Datu in their eyes. And then I saw him at the Atlanta, Georgia camp, the Tucker, Georgia camp, actually. And then he introduced me as Datu Tim.
There you go. Okay.
So
we've done a show covering some of that, but
I'll give you the short answer. What's the cons of becoming a Datu? People who have no clue what that means and they take shots at me and they try to say it's a Muslim thing. And and I would say 99% of the people are not Muslim, nor are they Filipino. And they're just busting my chops because I was awarded the title that they didn't get.
And you didn't self-aware. That's the thing. It's like, hey, how can you be Datu? Well, I don't know. Ask Remy. He's the one that did it. And you should have asked him when he was alive.
And that's the downside because no one had the balls to say anything to him. Listen, so 6 of us, I was the last They saved the best for last. There was 6 of us to get promoted to Datu. Only 2 were Filipino. The rest were Caucasians. And they saved the best for last. So, but the fact, and each person got it for different things.
Mm-hmm.
But I question whether that was a lifetime thing or whatever, because someone showed up at a camp after disappearing for a while, and when I went to introduce them as a Datu, Remy was very specific on me not doing that. So that is a whole nother topic in itself, whether that was just while you were active with him or if that was a lifetime thing and stuff like that, because that was an organizational title. And if you're no longer with the organization, I guess the question is, but I mean, was this person one of the Datus? Yes, they were.
And it wasn't Kelly, if that's what people are thinking.
No. According to Dieter, which I don't agree with this, but it may have been said. Okay. Mm-hmm. According to Dieter, Remy told him that his successor would come from the Datus. It makes sense from a cultural point of view.
It makes sense, yeah.
And it's a title that was around for decades.
Mm-hmm.
Shashir being the first, then Kelly, then it gets a little fuzzy in there. But no particular order: Shashir Nakalo, Kelly Warden, Dieter Kanoodle, Bong Hernellis, David Hoffman, and myself.
Yep.
I'm not sure the order after Kelly, except for one. I was the 6th. Yeah. But getting back to the topic, the problem here is with social media, when you start doing this, people may distance themselves from you. And if they're supposed to be your friends and they don't talk to you about it, that should tell you a lot right there. I have some people right there, and I'm like, at least the person in our inner circle, we had a conversation. They know and actually, once I hit them with a whole bunch of stuff, they're like, okay, I get it now. They saw the financial side of things, they saw the growth side of things, and and let's do something here. Just as I'll let you go. There we go.
Matt Jones, can the title of Datu be given or knighted onto a person if when that Datu dies? There's no rules, so there are a lot of opinions on that. I know Tim has one opinion.
My opinion
has another.
Yeah, my opinion is that our titles should not be handed on anybody. What I would like to see, the equivalent of us, is that, or the equivalent of this is that a new title is created, and maybe the Datus work on it together. Maybe I'll reach out to Kelly about this, and I go, Kelly, because I just would like to make sure that the first 6 the Datus in Modern Arnis, there's only 6 of us.
From Remy.
Others have been throwing out some titles trying to say otherwise.
Right.
There's only 6 of us. All 6 of us were hand chosen by the late Grandmaster Remy Praesus.
Yep.
Now, I'm going to throw something out there. Brian Zawolinsky was one of the masters of Tappy Tappy. There was 7 of them. Mm-hmm. So it was Randy Shea, Jeff Delaney, Jim Lattis, Chuck Goss, Kenny Smith, Gabrielle Roloff, and Brian Zawolinsky. Mm-hmm. He leaves the organization, does an honorary mot to Bambit Dulai, and then does a full mot to Roland Rivera. Mm-hmm. I think that was a bad decision. Because before, for the Masters of Tappy Tappy, they were the ones that were hand chosen by Remy. Mm-hmm. And now that you did the honorary one to Bambit, and then you did a full-fledged one in your mind to Roland Rivera. Now that statement is no longer true. You can no longer say that these guys, were hand chosen by Remy. And and I know Brian says, oh, he's good. I mean, Roland may be just as good, if not better than the Motts, but he wasn't at the time that Remy did this.
Mhm.
And there's the thing, whether he grew into it. And what I would have done in their situation is, if they wanted to create a title, then create their own title. But why, once you give out a title that Remy did, that was only done to the people by, I mean, like Datu was only done by Remy. To me, you now dilute the value of that. Now, if they did something, I don't know. I don't know what we would do. Or change our names. Make our what's the title I got for you guys?
Matandang Punong Guro.
So Matandang Datu. These are the 6 Matandang Datu, the original 6. And then just do regular Datu for the rest. That's why. But I mean, something needs to be done. I think something, in my opinion, something needs to be done to acknowledge the original 6. Just like I think they should have did the same thing for the Master of the Tappy Tappy to save the original 7 of those. But that's just my personal opinion. Once again, getting back to the topic, social media is a good tool.
Yep.
It could be abused. Just because someone's popular doesn't mean they know anything.
Yep.
I have a
We
few
see
people
that. I think everybody else agrees from the comments.
Skill is still skill or lack thereof. And that's it. I don't have anything else. What about you there, bud?
Nope. And plus, I'm tired now.
Okay. So next week, here's the big topic. You've become a black belt. Now what? I mean, that's not what it's going to be, but it's that journey. So the journey to black belt, and now about beyond. So that ought to be an interesting. I mean, if it's anything like last week's one, holy cow! Last week we had a phenomenal show, a lot of engagement. Oh,
Well, it's funny because people think that once you got black belt, you're done. It's like no, you're just starting. Lots of great stuff there, unless you like to go up to the window and not go through it.
Let me.
That'll be a good show, I think, next week. Yes.
Good show, gents. There we go. I'm going to say. I'm going to look at one thing here.
We'll get you, Matt. No worries.
So let me. Let me look for the right one. Looking for the right. Okay. All right. So I do a video about jiu-jitsu. I was responding to this one guy about jiu-jitsu lineages. So I'm doing a point counterpoint. He doesn't realize it or not, whatever. So the video has 9,100 views. It's got 30 comments. Let's say all 30 comments are bad. Okay. I got 204 thumbs up. That should account for something, Let's go. I've got MMA fighters practicing FMA. Okay. 44 comments. Okay. The view. Okay. The video is 18,000. I'm just talking about, well, there you go. You got Silva. They're practicing FMA. What that got, so no. So of course, there's going to be some comments here and there. Let's say all 44 comments are negative, which they're not. Still got 417 thumbs up. And let's get the big number. This is just on Facebook. 290,000 followers. Okay. That should tell you it all right there. I look at all the videos. Oh, 2 million. Okay. What's this one for 2 million? Oh, 2 million was the overhead knife attack.
Mm.
Overhead knife attack. 316 comments, okay? So, comments like, oh, it's easy when you know where the knife's going. Well, it's a demonstration of a technique, moron. But I'm not going to go into that because of the 2 million views, 316 comments. Let's say they're all negative. How many thumbs up did I have, Ty?
For that 2 million views, gosh, thousands.
25.6 thousand thumbs up.
Okay. All right.
So that should say a whole bunch right there. What's this another one? 1.7 million views against a knife defense. Talking about what don't do this, right? 300, so 1.7, 378 comments. Nope, unrealistic attack requires an unrealistic response. Comments like, let's say they're all bad, 29.6 thousand thumbs up.
Yep.
And then the most like the recent one,
that's a good illustration of the concept. Is, usually the negative comments are overrepresented in terms of people's feels because people, inherently don't say bad stuff if they like stuff. They don't stick their necks out.
I'm going, and the thing here too is I'm going all in. I'm saying all the comments like this latest one
are negative, which are not.
Is 107 comments.
Right. Let's say
if they were all negative, it's still 24.9 thousand.
Right. So it's less than a percent. Less than a percent negative.
So
that's pretty good for putting yourself out there.
Yeah. So, but the thing here is, so we can talk about stuff. Here's what I tell you. Don't confuse the majority. Okay. Don't worry about what the misfits say. Because most of the people out there, we've tried to talk about this and for a moment there, I got it twisted. I'm like, all right, what do I think about what the rest of the community is saying? What's the community saying? What's the community saying? Then I realized something. We are the community. Most of the people that are taking shots at me aren't teaching anymore. Or they got 2 or 3 students. It's like, okay, you're teaching out of your garage. Now Ty has just relocated to a whole new part of the country, still has his group back where he started, and then he's got this new group he's doing stuff, which goes up and down based on what's going on that week. How many people are in your new group?
The low or the high?
The high. What's the high?
The high has been 20.
20 people. And he's just started. Okay, we know it goes up and down.
Sure.
Okay, I got 75 people in my school. I had 3 people in my adult class tonight. Okay?
Right, that happens. Yep.
I had 1 kid come in for the intermediate class, but it was bring your father to class week, getting ready for Father's Day. So it was father and daughter opportunity. Okay. Cool. But the thing here, it's going to happen. And I've got a bigger gene pool than you've got. And this is what happens. Okay. So, just like this. Okay. Not like this. That's a different one. That's throwing the pie in the face. But anyways, but the thing here is some of the people that are talking about this, their total group is 2 or 3 people. And I'm like, don't worry about what some knucklehead says about you. You put out your stuff. Listen, martial arts should be confident. And there's the other thing. I tell people, just because you have the ability you have the freedom of speech doesn't mean you should always use it. I realize what I'm saying, when I'm saying. Sometimes I go a little overboard, like, ooh, that was at 10. I should have had that at 4. My bad. That came out so wrong.
Well, also, just because you have freedom of speech doesn't mean that you have freedom from consequences.
There's always consequence. And when you say something, and when you when you judge somebody else and hold them accountable for what they say, or you don't like what they say, and there may not be even accountability. I make some comments and you take shots at it for whatever reason. You say that was offensive and all this other stuff. Okay, whatever. All right. You have a right to feel that way. But realize that I have a right to feel similar if you say something that I don't like. And you can't cry foul. You have no right to complain about what others complain about. Wait, you have no right to complain about what someone says if you don't respect them enough to give them those same opportunities. I have a right to say something just as much as you do. Okay.
That's cool, man.
All right, gotta see what that is.
But yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to next week's show. I think we covered this one now.
Yeah.
Plus all the
All right.
questions. So
All
that's
right.
good.
So no one else has been chiming in. So hey, we're gonna wrap this up. So we'll see you next week.
Same bat channel, same bat time.
Next week, Monday. That will be the 15th of June. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. So sorry. All right. So no further ado. This is always a pleasure for me to do this with a good friend of mine, as well as a very talented, knowledgeable martial artist, and Ty. I was thinking about Matt, you know.
Right.
Wendy Wu, if you're still out there, we got you.
Right.
And next week, what happens after becoming a black belt?
Yep.
So this is Dr. Tim.
I'm PG Ty. Thanks, everyone.
Stay safe and stay sane.